So as you know, I'm going back to school to get my master's, and I keep questioning, like, is that the right choice? Am I making the right decision to do that? Is it going to be worth it in the end? And so my next question would be is, as a COO, when evaluating talent, how much weight do you place on a college degree versus real world experience?
So we like both, but here's what I would ask you, and here's what I
Mm-hmm.
would ask you to think about when you're getting an advanced degree
Yeah.
or any degree, anyone. So, am I learning? Is this fun? Is it interesting?
Yeah.
And I would really question, am I learning piece?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I doing it because I think it's something that I should do?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I went back to grad school, I learned things that I never learned in undergrad because it was all about business and international business. And I was a language major. Like, it wasn't anything about international business and even the fundamentals of accounting. Now, did I love taking accounting? Did I love taking some of the quantum physics courses and other
Yeah.
things that I was taking, and global economic courses? Some of them I didn't like, but I loved every professor, meaning I didn't like it because I didn't have time,
Yeah.
right, with all the other stuff I was doing. And I actually wish I had had more time to get deeper into some of it. But I felt like I was really learning. And so I was taking away things from that. So if you're not, I would ask you to question yourself around that.
Mm-hmm.
So think about it more from my perspective. Think about it more of, is it enhancing me in my career? Now, recently, it was maybe a year or so ago. No, it was a couple years ago now. I went back to MIT and I took, a couple courses
Yeah.
in AI.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot, and I was there to learn. I had a really specific goal in mind, right? It wasn't about advancing my career or anything. It was educating myself so I could bring a strategy to our company, an AI
Yeah.
strategy that I thought made sense. So, from our perspective, based on who we hire, yeah, we like to have people that are degreed, but is it required, for
Yeah.
certain jobs? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And the real world experience always matters more. It's weighted heavier to me than any courses that you can take in college.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really look at that. I look at having the conversation. So let's talk about what I look at
Yeah.
when we hire, right? I'm not looking at, unfortunately, when you're looking at a resume, all that comes to
Yeah.
light, right? But I'm looking at cultural fit. I'm looking at innovation, creativity. Do you have the smarts to do the job? Like, do you have it?
Yeah.
Because you got to have it or you're not going to make it, particularly on the consulting side,
Yeah.
because the consultants will eat you up if they do not think that you know how to do the job of consulting, right? Because it takes a team. So I look at things like teamwork and, ability to pitch in and help others and contribute. And to me, that really matters more. So it's not, do I have a degree? But it's more like, what is that degree doing for me?
I think that's great. Yeah. I guess that kind of is my next question of like, do you think a master's is like different from a bachelor's?
It is. So, from my perspective, now I chose a specific program, and it was an executive program, MBA program. And I chose it because it was so different than the undergrad experience, because these were people that were already running divisions of companies. And every case study and every single thing that we did at Emory was based on something at our own organization. So you got to pick projects that you were going to work on based on what was going on in your business. So I talked to another division at the company that I was working at. They wanted to launch a new product. I'm like, hey, can I bring this whole product launch into the classroom, and we'll come up with like a campaign and some ideas. So we were able to take it back, and that was super fun. And I
Yeah.
had people from, on my particular work team, from UPS and Coca-Cola and really big company names like that. And we were able to work on projects from that company. So it made it more almost like real world experience. And that's what I think grad school does. Undergrad, at least when I went, and I don't know if it's changed, but undergrad, it was more about covering these core courses and making sure that, now as a language arts
Yeah.
major, you covered this level of literature, right? You had this much of history.
Yeah.
There, it was a pretty regimented program.
Yeah, I will say though, I feel like college has changed a lot, just with the technology and stuff. So like now, I feel like a lot of my schoolwork, all of my schoolwork for my master's is online, so it's very different. I don't really get that interaction with you know others, but I still have like team projects that I'm working on. It's just like we have to do it through Zoom calls and different
Yeah.
things like that. But I think that college has changed a lot, so that's why I was like kind of questioning like, does it still matter?